This is Greg Bufidis, the chairman and founder of Project Council, and I'm here in London at the Langham Hotel for a two-day seminar being sponsored by the Georgetown Law Center. It's called Corporate Council Europe, and it's a kind of a replication of what they've done in DC the last 14 years. I'm very happy that my next guest is John Tyner, who's the former Chief Executive Officer of the FSA here in England, who just had a rather interesting chat with Kate Nealon. Thank you for joining us today.
It's a pleasure.
One of the things you mentioned during the chat was that you felt there was a disconnect between the causes of the financial crisis we're going through and actually what the regulators are proposing to do about it. Could you just summarize your comments?
Yeah, I think that inevitably when the political mood is for tightening regulation, then everybody's agenda comes into the resolution to the problem. And I think that the public policy position at the moment and the expectations of the public are quite supportive of additional regulation without really thinking about the cost that might impose. And the issue I'm particularly worried about is the extent to which excessive regulation, excessive demands on capital and liquidity, given what we learned from the crisis, will slow down economic growth globally because there'll be a shortage of supply of capital and lending to businesses to invest in their own world, in their own real economy. And I think it's very important to narrow down what was really the causation of the crisis and really focus on those few things. They were major issues, and they do need to be fixed globally, not at a national level, and global leaders need to keep the momentum of trying to find global solutions rather than local solutions. But I think they need to fix around the items which we really do learn from the crisis and not everybody else's political agenda.
One of your specialty areas, John, are derivatives, and you didn't get a chance to chat about it during the presentation, so can you just give me some thoughts about it now?
Yeah, derivatives have had a pretty bad press. Really for 30 years. In fact, they were first created in the commodity markets hundreds of years ago. But the Barings collapse in 1995 was given over to derivatives, many other problems, and many people think that the level of leverage in the banking system and in the non-banking system through the hedge funds, through the derivative markets, was a cause of the very rapid meltdown in 2007 and 8 more recently. My view is that derivatives play a very important role in the ability of companies to manage risk, whether it's to protect the price rises they might incur on their oil purchases if they're an airline or whatever it might be. And so I would like to be able to think that derivative markets will continue to be a very important risk management tool, but there needs to be greater security over the derivatives which are not traded through exchanges and clearing houses. So I'm very supportive of having some sort of central clearing system and perhaps much more standardization of contracts in the over-the-counter market, rather than looking at derivatives as being fundamentally a bad thing. And I think that would bring much more security for the industry. It'll actually reduce the systemic impact of derivatives in terms of the global financial system, and will make those instruments still available to users who need them to manage risk.
So your feeling is that even though we're experiencing a little bit of inertia in the market, so to speak, because of the fact that the economies are coming out of recession and markets are starting to stabilize, you still believe that we're going to see some derivatives regulation?
Yeah, I mean, I think on the derivatives front, I think there is momentum behind having OTC derivatives cleared with proper margining systems, good collateral, and to provide some sort of backbone, therefore, to the risk of derivatives. I think that will happen. I think there's a lot of support for that. I think other areas of policy are getting stuck by local political and protectionist thinking. Whereas I think the derivatives issue is not of that nature. It's a global market. Everybody understands that. And there is a global solution which I think the policymakers are coming together around.
Thanks for joining us this afternoon, John.
It's a great pleasure.
This is Greg Bufidis, chairman and founder of Project Council, here at the Georgetown Conference at the Langham Hotel in London.